Our next guest is Damien Gabis. He served in the Army as an infantryman and deployed to Afghanistan from 2012 to 2013. Damien is a psychology major and hopes to get his master's in social work. Good to see you, brother.
That's it.
So I got a fellow infantryman here with me.
Yeah, why would you do any other job?
Yeah. What was the old saying? There's 211 jobs in the Army, and then the infantry took it and said, there's there's one job in the Army and 201 ways to support him.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, tell us about Afghanistan. Tell us about your service.
Well, I did kind of took a roundabout path to the Army. I went to college here, kind of sleptwalked my way through an English degree, graduated in 2009, and then I enlisted like an idiot. And I should have gone to OCS, but I enlisted, picked 11 Bravo, said I'll run toward the bullets, and I was stationed at Fort Stewart, lived in Savannah, which is a great town. Anybody wants to go? And we deployed. Our whole battalion deployed with 3rd Special Forces Group as Uplift Squads in village stability operations, which means basically a dream deployment for any regular Army.
Sure.
Like each squad, we got to live and work with an SF team, which the best that we have.
Oh, yeah.
And we got to, I wore civilians like half my deployment.
Wow.
Just calling E7s, hey man, wasn't, and, didn't shave. It was pretty sweet. But for me, towards the end of the deployment, we were in the Kapisa province, and it's kind of near Bagram. And I was driving a GMV, which is like a Humvee, but with the truck bed is like, it's like a truck bed, and there's like guns mounted on the back. And so I was driving, and this is a place where we had thought was white space, which is basically a spot that you think that you aren't gonna get hit at all, which we had been the whole deployment. We hadn't been hit there ever. It was on a blacktop, like a regular road like you see in Morgantown. Well, actually,
Less potholes.
Actually, probably better, yeah. Get on that, guys. Yeah, roads in Afghanistan are better than Morgantown. So there's a white Corolla coming up, and we're the third truck. We have a minigun. Mm-hmm. My squad leader's a gunner, SF medic's TC, and there's a terp and 2 SF guys in the truck bed. So the lead truck is our partner force truck, the Afghans. Second truck is I can't remember, their SF truck. And then the third truck is ours. And this white Corolla comes up around the bend, and I think, like, this guy's gonna freaking hit me. And we're driving in the middle of the road, which is what you're supposed to do. And then I think he hits me, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he hit me. And then like, I'm on fire. and like, I was John Wayne in it. I had my helmet unbuckled, and helmet blew off. My glasses on, they blew apart, and my hair was burning. I stuck my hands in my face, and I thought this is it. Like, this is where it goes down.
Yeah.
So, and I thought of my wife at the time, and I mean, it was in an instant, and I put my face up like this, and the only scar I had from that is right here. A little shrapnel got me, but I got burned pretty bad. But they scraped it. They had dermabrasion and scraped it off. Almost wish they would have left it, because I have to tell people all about it. I have no scars to prove it. No, not really. But so
you have still deal with issues from that day?
Yeah, I had a perforated eardrum. Still kind of leaks a little bit. A little mild TBI. More what I deal with is like almost mental, because when we got home, that became like my whole identity, was that I survived this VBIED. Mm-hmm. And
So I mean, it's an amazing
yeah.
thing to go through to survive.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, probably one of the biggest, most impactful events of your life. I mean, how can you not identify with that after that?
Oh yeah. And I mean, like that's, and I embraced it for a while, but then I couldn't find any other, other meaning in my life. And other people, family, friends, I mean, they were saying like, oh look, it's a miracle, like you survived. Like everybody in the truck survived somehow. There's shrapnel all in the truck from that Corolla, but none of it hit anybody. Like pieces are like this big, nothing got anybody. And I was thinking like you gotta be kidding me, like miracle, like there was 2 guys from my company that died in that deployment. Like,
is that
Sergeant Shad, and then Staff Sergeant Rick Shad, and Sergeant Whitman. Sergeant Whitman was the first casualty of 2013, and Sergeant Shad died in to check, died in March of 2013. They were at different sites in different provinces because our whole company was split up. But yeah, it's guys I knew that, I mean, where was their miracle? You know what I mean?
Sure. So you get back. How long were you in the Army after your deployment?
About a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was still dealing with some TBI issues, so I was put in the training room, which was kind of like an office job. But I had an English degree. I had a degree, and I was there like, first sergeant was like, Gabis, go do that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I ran the training room for a little bit, but after a while, I was having issues at home. Like when you leave, excuse me, we were already, my wife and I at the time were already having issues, and you think that like this is gonna be fine when we get back. You get back and your, intimacy is up, but then you get back and it's like after a while, it goes back to all the stuff that was wrong is still wrong. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just that. I mean, I had been dealing with the VBIED and all that stuff, and I thought like I just gone deeper and deeper into a hole, and I thought didn't tell anybody for a while, and then I thought like, well, I'll just go home on lunch. No one's gonna notice me gone, no accountability, and I'll just go home and do what I gotta do, and that'll be it. And then I thought of my wife at the time, what it would be like if she found me, and so I texted my squad leader from Afghanistan, and I was like, Sergeant Swaller, like I gotta do something about this, like, or I'm gonna go home and I'm not gonna be here anymore. So, I mean, my unit was amazing. Like there's like a stigma that, you don't seek help.
Yeah, you don't talk about it.
Yeah. And, but my unit was, I mean, they kept it like, kept it quiet sounds naughty, but they like,
they were respectful.
Yeah, they didn't put me on blast, and, a couple of guys that were in my unit that knew me well, they came to visit me. I was there for a week in, a ward type unit, and, I wasn't worse for the wear. Came back, finished out my contract, and tried to sham as much as possible, and I was probably at dental appointments the half of the rest of the time my time.
Right.
But yeah, and I finally made it out and went back to Wheeling after that.
Yeah. So, I mean, have you had any issues like since you've gotten back?
Yeah, most of it is the hard transition. Really was from military life to civilian life, not from deployment. Yeah,
I mean that's where they say like most of us have our troubles. Like I mean, it's in the first 3 years after we return from the deployment, and then they say it's like right when we get back is the worst, and then when we transition out is another really bad point, and then like once we're trying to like we were starting to establish ourselves in like something new, like a new job or something. The new pressure of that can bring back things. So. Oh yeah.
One thing I want to talk about coming home from deployment first before I really want to talk about is the reintegration is a joke. Is 100% a joke.
Oh yeah.
Everyone here that's deployed knows it. Like, who doesn't know to bathe their kid in boiling hot water, or to not beat their wife, or to not kill their dog.
Right.
I mean, who doesn't know that? And any survey that they give you, are you feeling X, Y, Z? Or are you gonna I'm gonna answer as best I can, so I don't have to see anybody, so I can get home.
Yeah, so you can get out of there.
Yeah.
Because it's an uncomfortable experience just sitting
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, like what?
You're home. You want to, like Chris said, you want to go put your feet in the grass.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to sit in this building with people you've been around with, for the last year. You want to go do your thing.
Yeah, I want to go have a meal. It's not like Taco Tuesday or...
Or the boiled steaks from the surf and turf night.
Yep, exactly. Man, that lobster was... Anyways. But coming back home to Wheeling, I mean, family's all right. My mom's kind of nuts, but I hope she's not watching this. But coming back home was hard because I'd walk in the grocery store and I'd be like, I don't care about any of these people. They don't know who I am. They certainly don't know what the third world is like. I mean, Afghanistan is the third world, qualifies as third world. Mm-hmm. I mean, it made me appreciate my life, what I had, but I just didn't identify with any of these people. And getting a job was awful. I was like, oh, look, Purple Heart, I have a degree and all this stuff. I interview for jobs after jobs. No, we got better qualified people. I mean, I ended up working at Sam's Club, pushing carts. It was a paycheck. I was living at home, so I didn't have to pay rent, but it was only because I only got the job because the Walmart Corporation guaranteed veterans jobs 18 months out of. So I mean, I was working part-time minimum wage job.
Right.
And I eventually ended in oil and gas, which was a nice paycheck, but it's not what I wanted to do. But I eventually got my feet under me.
Yeah. So I just want to go back to, where you were at when you were going to attempt suicide. What was kind of going on, your day-to-day things? You said you were having some spousal issues. Is there anything else?
Well, day-to-day, I guess I was sleepwalking through, show up to formation. I wasn't doing much PT because I still had some TBI stuff going on, but I couldn't find anything meaningful, nothing beside, everyone else was gearing up for whatever the range or something, and I was still stuck in Afghanistan, I guess.
Yeah, just kind of wading through mud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep, exactly. And I mean, my ex-wife, Sarah, she was as supportive as she could have been, but it just, the tension that was there was still there. As much as she didn't want to see me hurt or whatever, she couldn't bring herself down with it,
Sure,
so,
yeah.
So, I was withdrawn and very, I guess, guarded is the term. Not very open with anything and would let stuff blow up and not talk about it. And that probably what led me eventually to just everything, not just one single stressor, but they all just kind of led a culmination to.
Yeah, and I assume you were a lot like me and some of the other guys I've known that you could see those warning signs that they had been telling us about, being short-tempered and just feeling stressed out and pulled in 100 different directions, but not going anywhere. You didn't want to go and talk to anybody before, as it was mounting up, or it's just.
I was nervous probably about it. I was more nervous to talk to somebody.
Yeah, because of that stigma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
especially in an infantry unit, it can be brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. I was totally surprised, taken off guard, how the unit reacted. Mm-hmm. I guess I had built up some equity, and I kicked ass overseas as a gunner and then as a driver. Mm-hmm. And but yeah, that probably helped me. But but just not seek that. The whole thing is that, like there's such a big campaign, like we have to stop suicide, but no one wants to. That culture, the warrior culture, admit that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I kind of asked Chris about this. What are some things that could be put in place to help us out in a better way? Because obviously, what we're doing right now isn't working.
Well, I guess when you think about 22 a day, I think that the ideology might be just in the fact that veterans probably use deadlier methods, way deadlier.
Well, we're trained for it.
Yep.
And we're very comfortable with death.
Yep.
You can't live in the combat zone for a year and not get somewhat comfortable with death.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, shooting no matter who, if you shoot at another human being, like you're comfortable with, like the M4, like in your shoulder pocket, and the cheek to stock weld, you're comfortable with shooting at another human being. So what's the difference between yourself? You're comfortable with a weapon. You probably have a few personally owned weapons yourself. So how easy is it to go in your gun safe?
It's too easy.
Rack around. Yep. Too easy. Yep. That is what makes us different from global war, what makes us different from other veterans of other wars. Like, what is the global war on terror veterans? Is it a higher rate? I honestly don't know. But
well, they say now that this was an older statistic from the LA Times. They think our veterans are about one a day, but that is a few years old now, and things haven't really gotten better. They've either stayed the same or gotten worse in a lot of cases, so we could be over one a day now.
I mean, what we could do, I guess, I look to what, World War II veterans, they saw some and they, like, way worse stuff than we'll ever see. The global war on terror veteran, maybe not, whatever, it's all relative. But when they came back, there was no reintegration. They came back on a boat. It took like a month to get home. And you know what they did? They
Go ahead.
They BS'd with their buddies over what they had just done, laughed about it, wept about it maybe. They processed it.
Mm-hmm.
They had a soft place to land, someone like them. Maybe they talked to a chaplain, who knows, but they processed that event. Coming back on a plane.
Yeah, you're there in a day.
Yep.
You don't have time to take that journey of healing.
Yep. In reintegration, like, you're going to blow past that just so you can get laid and get drunk. Dead serious.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's what drives it. You got to be honest about it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Encouraging a discourse between veterans is probably, between veterans and professionals, that's the easiest thing. Like, you've got to talk about it. You got to put your ego away as much as it hurts and talk about it. Doesn't make you any less of a man or woman.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on. You did great.